Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to the biggest what-ifs of the 1990s. So we watched the 2000s, now we're going to watch the 1990s. This is by my boy, Stunning Growth. Let's check it out.
Biggest NBA what-ifs of the 1990s. Circumstance. In the last feature, we spoke about the biggest what-ifs of the 2000s, focused on how much of an impact injury can have on a career. But today, I'd like to speak about how much circumstance plays a role in the trajectory of a player, a franchise, and the NBA itself as a brand. In sports, you often hear people criticize it for being rigged or staged, or somehow there's a script behind the scenes that predetermines the future, as if that is at all possible to one sustain physically with how unpredictable things like injury can be, and two, for it to be this long and multiple players haven't came out and expressed awareness and concern of there being strings pulled behind the scenes to ensure this player or that player be walked on the path to greatness opposed to others. The truth is, there are no scripts, and there is no such thing as predetermined roles or outcome in sports.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for putting that out there. I am so tired of these people and these goddamn scripts. This script nonsense. We need to stop it, bro. Stop with the script nonsense. Just enjoy the entertainment that's in front of you. Please, man. Thank you. Thank you, Stunning Grove. Thank you for being the reasonable one.
Circumstance and being put in the right one that fits or not, and be in a situation that may take some time to find the right spot. For example, Tracy McGrady, who easily could have made this list if we were talking about how much injury impacted his career in our last video, but also how circumstance built the foundation for work ethic, determination, and a chip on his shoulder he gained having to fight being drafted straight out of high school to a recent expansion team, not one of the best, going 16 and 66 his rookie year, to having a guy with superstar qualities that happens to be a family member that happens to play your position, drafted to your team your second year, him immediately becoming the face of the franchise and forcing you to have to find another path to success on a different team, only to take off and be one of the best of your generation and Hall of Famer. What if that never happened and Vince Carter and T-Mac stayed on the Raptors? Imagine the alternate history. Today, to me,
the problem would be the coach. You would have to get rid of the coach. That was I forgot who was the coach of the team at that time, but Tracy McGrady has always said that he would have stayed on the Raptors had the coach or the organization themselves put more faith into him, gave him more minutes, and let him shine. But they never did that. They never let him shine. So that's why when he went to Orlando, he balled out and got most improved. I think he led the league in scoring, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But I know he won most improved.
These three circumstances changed the course of basketball history in their own ways and opened the doors for some great things to come out of it, along with some unfortunate ones as well. Imagine the history change had the Spurs drafted Keith Van Horn first overall instead of Tim Duncan. Would Van Horn have fit great in the Spurs system under Greg Pop? Perfectly mixed with David Robinson. Also great fit culture-wise, much better than that in New Jersey. Imagine Tim Duncan in the New York media instead, and how that may have changed his stride and Duncan's career history to have been placed on a bad team that only made the playoffs twice in Van Horn's tenure. Or if Joe Smith never gets caught taking under-the-table deals and causing the team to be stripped of important draft picks that could have helped Kevin Garnett's career in its prime. And who can forget arguably the biggest circumstance of all, Kobe Bryant falling into the Lakers' lap, and how many teams could have had the second greatest shooting guard of all time, superstar of all superstars, and legend.
Shit. Not the way how Jerry Buss was going. Hey, Jerry Buss, all the interviews I've seen of Jerry Buss was going hard for Kobe. He was not playing. He was like, I'm going to get this Kobe kid. Listen, who trying to make a deal? New Jersey, you trying to make a deal? Nah, hell no. We gonna draft him. We just gonna draft him just because you kept asking us. Thanks for letting us know who to pick, motherfucker. Oh, fuck you then. That's what it was. Jerry West was not playing. He wanted Kobe. And he saw he knew a superstar when he saw one, man. Jerry West knew a superstar when he saw one. He said he was determined to get Kobe. And Charlotte was the ones that took the fucking bait. They said, look, we'll give you Vlade Divac and a couple other guys and some draft picks. What you want? Yeah, we'll take Vlade Divac. We could definitely use a Vlade Divac. Considering the fact we don't have an Alonzo Mourning anymore, we could definitely take a Vlade Divac. The dumbass niggas took a Vlade Divac. They took a Kobe. Let's see. It worked out for everybody, didn't it?
Let's explore 3 of what's to me the biggest what ifs of the 90s. Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Tim Duncan going first overall to the Spurs and not New Jersey. In the NBA draft, or any drafting system for that matter, circumstance is everything. Being placed on the right fitting team can be substantial for the player, and not taking the right one can mean just as much for a franchise. Ask Draymond Green, a guy without traditional all-star skill set that probably is an average player on a bad fitting team, but with the Warriors and 2 of the best shooters ever, he's a 4-time champion, all-star, and probably Hall of Famer. Not to mention, secured hefty contracts playing in the Golden State system. What if Dallas drafted Charles Barkley instead of Sam Perkins? Carmelo, Chris Bosh, or D. Wade instead of Milicic? Who can forget Steph Curry instead of Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio back-to-back, right before he landed in the Warriors' lap?
Or what about when the Bucks had Stephen Curry and sent him back because he had ankle problems? You stupid motherfuckers, we could have had Giannis and Steph. Why, Bucks? Why do you make dumb decisions? You could have had Paul Pierce. No. You had Dirk Nowitzki, then you traded him. Why? You had the number 1 overall pick in 2006 and you drafted Andrew Bogut. And we could have had a Chris Paul. We could have had a Darren Williams. And then we could have had a Steph Curry, man. We could have had a Steph Wardell Curry in a Bucks uniform standing right next to Giannis and Chris Middleton with Drew Holiday coming off the fucking bench. And we could have been going for our 7th championship right now. Oh my God. Some bullshit. I just think about that shit all the time, bro. It hurts being a Bucks fan. Don't even bring up when we traded Ray Allen and kept Michael Redd and saw how that worked out. Don't even bring that up. I might just cut you.
Back in 97, the Spurs had a significant choice to make, one that would change their franchise forever either way. Draft a decorated power forward from Wake Forest, another big to pair with David Robinson, who wasn't the most athletic and could get in the way on the block with the Admiral. Or the sweet-shooting small forward power forward Keith Van Horn from Utah, who dominated his competition and was usually compared to Larry Bird before the draft. Imagining him in the Spurs system honestly doesn't seem like that bad a fit.
Not at all.
For his slow down play style, IQ over athleticism, paired with a coach like Greg Pop, a player like Robinson, the brute to Van Horn's grace, and a culture like the Spurs were building, it would have likely worked out great in his fortune.
Facts.
But would it for the franchise as a whole? Would they still win 3 championships in 6 years?
No.
5 in Tim Duncan's era? Who knows? But we do know they made a great choice as him, Duncan, became a top 10 player of all time.
I like that.
5-time champion, 3-time finals MVP, and 2-time league MVP. While Keith Van Horn played on bad teams in New Jersey until he made the finals in 2002 and was swept by the Lakers as the 4th leading scorer. Was he a bust? No, not exactly.
Not at all.
But his career didn't stack close to Tim Duncan's, or what could have been had they swapped circumstances. Joe Smith never blowing Kevin Garnett's prime on under-the-table deals beginning in '98. The Kevin Garnett story will always be an important one for NBA history in general because he's become another top 10 to 15 greatest of all time player, 15-time All-Star, League MVP, and of course a somewhat late NBA champion in 2008 at 31 years old and past his prime. A prime many think had Minnesota been able to build a better team around their star, he could have led them to a championship for the first time in their history, changing his legacy as well to have come straight from high school to winning in a small market in the 90s, early 2000s. KG with multiple chips in Minnesota is arguably being discussed as one of the greatest of all time. Of course, Minnesota wasn't able to build that team around him, in large part due to the actions of Joe Smith. Joe Smith was the former number 1 overall pick many expected a lot out of
But you can't really blame Joe Smith for that one, though. You got to blame the organization. The organization got to take most of the blame for this one. That was just a bad look for the organization. They the ones that ruined their own goddamn fortunes. It was really the organization. Joe Smith was just getting his money. I don't blame the brother. Get your money any way you can. I don't blame him one bit. I blame the organization. The organization, they the ones that wanted to do it like this. They didn't have to do it like that. They could have just paid Joe Smith. They could have gave Joe Smith a contract like they give every other player. That's the organization's fault. That's not Joe Smith's fault. Joe Smith was just collecting his checks. That's all it was. I don't blame Joe Smith one bit.
During the NBA, he started off solid, though some expected more, then was traded to Philly for 30 games, and then Minnesota, playing behind superstars like Iverson and Kevin Garnett. In Minnesota, Smith's agent, Smith, the Timberwolves owner, and GM Kevin McHale had the bright idea to sign Smith to small 1-year deals instead of one large one in attempts to evade the salary cap the team would be under, allowing them to go out and sign other free agents, all while allegedly Smith got paid in cash under the table and promised millions in the future. He signed short-term deals below market value, reportedly no more than $3 million a year. He was about to sign an $86 million deal with the team in the final year until that fell through right before because Smith's agent left his firm and took Smith and Garnett with him. The firm retaliated by allegedly putting the under-the-table deal out to the public, and it crashed Smith and Garnett's prime. The NBA responded heavily, stripping the team of first-round draft picks for 5 back-to-back years beginning in 2001. In 2001, Garnett was just 24 years old, and with a little help from those draft picks, or trades those picks could have brought back, could have changed the franchise forever. Instead, they are one of the 11 teams in the league that's never won an NBA championship, even with a top 10 all-time great. All because the circumstance they put themselves in the prime of Garnett's career. Garnett left Minnesota 6 years later, some say a little too late. Kobe falling to the Lakers in '96 and not the Hornets. And lastly, a top 3 NBA what-if of all time. Along with the Blazers drafting Sam Bowie and the Steph Curry miss, this has to be the biggest example of circumstance. Ask anyone that's seen Kobe play or see video of him for the first time, and you wouldn't believe 13 teams, including the Charlotte Hornets, who actually drafted him, then traded him to the Lakers, passed on this Hall of Fame talent. Kobe was an unproven talent, a draft after Kevin Garnett in '96, and looking back, I still don't understand who couldn't see Bryant was a star. He reportedly killed all his pre-draft workouts, but because of his age, obviously, and the family baggage around his name coming in, teams went for more sure things, plus the '96 draft was arguably the deepest of them all.
The dumbest ones had to be the fucking Clippers. They gotta be the dumbest ones of them all, bro. For real. Y'all really passed on this man because we don't want to draft a high school kid because we're trying to look like a serious team and not be taken as a joke. Come on, man. This dude killed the workouts. If he's a proven commodity, just take him. Anybody could have took him, bro. Philly could have took him. Minnesota could have took him. The Bucks could have took him. Anybody could have took Kobe. The fact that, man, New Jersey was threatening to take him, but they passed. I don't know why. You chose Kerry Kittles over Kobe Bryant. All right. That's why you're the New Jersey Nets. But anyways, though, I'm just saying though, man, like he killed all the workouts, and nobody wanted him because he was a high schooler. All I know is this: Charlotte needs to retire his jersey. Just because. Listen, man, if the Miami Heat are going to retire Michael Jordan's jersey, he ain't never played for that team ever in his entire career. I think it's only right that Charlotte retires both his numbers. 8 and 24 should no longer be used. Not as a Charlotte Hornet or as a LA Laker. None of the numbers should never be used. That's just me personally.
Well, the Lakers and Jerry West knew what they had. They offered to trade beloved Lakers Vlade Divac to the Hornets for him, who jumped at the chance to acquire the savvy center and shipped Bryant to LA on draft night. It took some time to get going, but Kobe only became the second greatest shooting guard of all time, a top 5 of all time on my list, 5-time champion, league MVP, and ambassador for hard work and extreme focus. What if he went to Charlotte? Would he still have amounted to Kobe? All the rings with Shaq, the superstar atmosphere of LA opposed to Charlotte, and how would he have competed out east instead of the west at the time? He may just have been better coming in no Shaq, and on a bad team he could be himself, but it also could have made him Kevin Garnett, staying there too long, or Allen Iverson and ringless. It's still one of the greatest NBA draft moments, all hinging.
I doubt he would go ringless. I have a feeling that Charlotte would have put the right pieces around him once they realized what they had. Either Charlotte would have put the right pieces around him, or they would have fucked up and he would have left. If I see anything happening, I would probably see the Tracy McGrady situation. I would see the Tracy McGrady situation playing out differently. I would see it as, instead of Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady on Orlando Magic, it probably would have been Kobe and Tracy on the Orlando Magic. That probably what would have happened, considering the fact that Tracy McGrady and Kobe already had a relationship. And then imagine Trace like, yo, I'm going to Orlando. Where you going? Oh, you going to Orlando? I bet. I'm finna go team up with you then. I bet you any money that's what would have happened. You would have had Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady on the same fucking team, and you would have been going through hell with them. You would have had a 6'9" beast in Tracy McGrady, and then you got this motherfucker over here that's just gonna kick your ass. You got, oh man, the East would have been easy for them too. They are dependent on the structure of the West. Depending on the structure of the West, I say they win about 2 or 3 rings together. I don't think they can go no further. The West is the East was easy pickings. The West would have been easy pickings. I think they probably would have ran into a problem with Detroit, but considering that offense, that offensive firepower between them two, the fact that they could light your ass up on any given night, and the fact that Kobe wouldn't have no restrictions though. That's the thing. Kobe would have no restrictions. Because you got to remember, Tracy McGrady was playing for the Orlando Magic and he had no restrictions. So imagine, you got Kobe and Tracy McGrady. There's no restrictions. Both of them putting up 30, 40 a night. You dealing with a problem. That's a fucking problem. I say they go to the finals 5 times. They win 3 out of the 5. Then I want to say either Tracy body breaks down sometime later on, or Kobe gets this thought in his head that it's time for me to go. Yeah, it's time for me to go. I'm ready to do this on my own. And Kobe goes out and pursues his own thing. Who knows? Maybe he goes to the Lakers and still, and everything that I say, well, let's say he does go to the Lakers around like 2005. Shaq goes to whatever team he goes to, because I don't know if he goes to Miami, because for one, who the hell is going to be playing with Shaq around this time? I have no idea. But that's just me. That's just my thought process. If he would have stayed in Charlotte, he would have went to Orlando with Tracy McGrady. That's just my thought process. That's how I see it playing out. Either he would have went to Orlando with Tracy McGrady, or he would have went home to Philly to go be with Iverson. Those 2 circumstances would have happened. Either he going to go play with Iverson, or he going to go play with Tracy. More than likely, I say he go play with Tracy because he'd be in Orlando.
On circumstance that changed so many lives. All in all, the circumstance you're put in can help or hurt, but work ethic trumps it all as long as you have a consistent and focused one. Young hoopers, remember this, because staying in the gym can take you places you never expected and help you land on the right side of circumstance.
Fact.
Great players and teams who for these reasons had their circumstances change their future. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunning Growth, and I'm out.
Facts. He ain't lying to y'all. Stay in the gym and stay consistent. Hard work and dedication always pays off in the end. Always remember this to all my youngins out there that's hooping right now. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. Always remember that. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. Always remember that. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you ain't putting in the hard work, you ain't gonna never get as far as you think you are. You want to get far in life, you want to be like the Kobe's and the LeBrons of the world, the Michael Jordans. Hard work. Hard work. You can have that talent. You can jump out the gym like Jordan. You can shoot it from 3 like Steph. You can have a mid-range. You can have a deadly mid-range game like Kobe. But if you're not putting in the hard work, how will you be able to make that? How will you be able to take it further? You have to understand. There's levels. There's the amateurs, the collegiate, professional. When you get to that professional stage, you need to have a lot of tools. You need to have a lot of tools in your. You need to have a lot of things in your toolbox in order to do the job at the professional level. Let's just keep it there. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you on the next video. Till then, peace out.